What's up everyone and welcome to the club. In today's video we're going to be drawing the Iron Spider from Spider-Man Far From Home. Let's get started in the center of our page with the eyes. So we move over to the left side and draw the upper eyelid. Starting from the inside we're going to curve up and then bend that out. Let's leave a gap in the center and do the same thing on the right. So lining up the inside, we'll curve up and then bend that out. Now we're going to draw on the bottom of the eye. Starting from the top on the left, we're going to curve out, round out the bottom of the eye, and then come up on the inside. Let's do the same thing on the right. Curving down, rounding out the eye, and then pulling that up. Now we're going to go in and add the thick trim around the eyes. So on the top left, we're going to step out. We're going to start by coming down and in. Now we'll follow that same curve of the eye, coming in, and then down on the inside. Let's do the same thing on the right. Starting with the inside, leave an even space gap going all the way up towards the top. And at the end, we're just going to curl this up. Now we're going to come down around the bottom. Starting at the top left again, come down, around the bottom of the eye, and I'm going to pull that up. Now I'm going to fill this outer area in black. Alright, now that we have the eyes in place, let's draw on the lower part of the head. So from the left eye, we're going to step out, start out here, we're going to start with a point. Now we're going to draw a half circle, coming down towards the chin and then back up on the right side. Now let's draw on the top of the head. Starting back on the left side, we're going to bump out the side of the head around the eye, come up and in. I'm going to round out the top of the head, come around towards the right, around the eye, and then I'll pull that in. Now let's go in and add some webbing. Starting at the very top in the center, we draw a straight line coming all the way down, and we're going to stop right in between the eyes. And then from here I'm going to curve down and out towards the left, towards the inside corner of the eye, and do the same thing on the right. Let's add two curved lines along the top. From the center, we're going to step out towards the left, curve up, and then out towards the left side of the head. We'll go to the right, and we'll do the same thing. Going up, and then out. Let's go back to the inside of the eye. Starting on the left, we're going to curve in, and then down with a short curve. Do the same thing on the right side. And then we'll connect these 2 points with a curve, going up the middle, and then back down. From the bottom points, we want to angle down and out towards the bottom of the head. Now we're going to move out towards the inside of the eye, and we're going to angle these out a little bit further, going out towards the left, and then the right. Let's add a couple more lines on the side of the head. Starting at the top of the cheek, we're just going to come straight in behind the eye. And then from the top of the eye, we're going to step down, draw an angle line coming down and in, aiming towards the center of the head. Now let's add in the webs. From the outside of this line, we're going to curve in and then up towards the center. And we're going to do the same thing on the right side. Coming down and then out. Now let's connect these two lines. Starting from the top, curve down and then out. And the same thing on the right. Let's do the same thing along the bottom. Starting on the outside, curve in and then down. And then we'll connect these two lines, going up and then down. And then finally in the center. Halfway between this curve and the bottom, we start on the left side, we're going to curve up and then down. Now back on the left, we're going to curve up and out, and then we'll do the same thing on the right. Now we're going to go up in the center, we're going to curve down and out towards the left, and then the right. Go back on the left, we're going to curve down and out in behind the eye on both sides. Now we're going to find the halfway point between the top and this bottom line. We'll curve down and then out. And then back on the left, we'll curve down and out on top of the eye. Now that we completed the head, let's work our way down the body. We're going to start with the sides of the body first. So over on the left side, just underneath the head, we're going to step down, curve out, and then down towards the hip. Let's move over towards the right, and we'll do the same thing. Let's add a spider symbol in the center of the body. Right in the middle, underneath the chin, we're going to start with a point. From this point, we're going to angle down and out towards the left, and then the right. And then from either side, we're going to come down the side, and then we'll go out with a short angle toward the left and right. Now we're going to come down and in, and then we'll close out the bottom. We're going to come down with an angle, and then back up on the right. Now from the top corners, we're going to step out, draw a short line coming down the sides. And then from the top, we're going to angle up and out. And we'll go up in an angle in behind the head. Let's go back down towards the bottom. We're going to angle down and out with a short line. And then we'll come down and then in. From the bottom, we're going to angle down and out towards the bottom. Now I just want to trace this out on the outside. Starting underneath the chin, we're going to step out. I'm just going to follow this down. Now on the inside, we're just going to come to a point, back out, and we'll come all the way down towards the bottom. Let's do the same thing on the right. Now we're going to add a trim along the top. From the top on the left, we're going to step in, come down at an angle, come down and in. Do the same thing on the right. Down, and then in, and then we'll go up towards a center point. Now we're going to move to the side and trace out the outer edge. So starting from the side of the body, we're going to come down, come in, and then back out. Let's do the same thing on the right. Come down, in, and then back out. Now we're going to follow this angled line coming all the way down to right about there. We'll go out with a short angled line, and we're going to come up towards the side of the hip. And then from the hips, we're going to trace this out on the inside. So let's start on the left. We're going to come down at an angle. Same thing on the right. Go up with an angled line, go out, and we're going to come all the way up towards that center spider, and then we're going to create a point, almost like drawing a V along the bottom. And then finally, we're just going to trace this out on the outside, leaving an even space gap coming down and then out. In between these two bottom points, we're going to step up, draw a curve, coming down the middle, and then back up. Let's continue working down with the legs. In the center, we're going to step down, draw a curve from left to right, going up and then down. Now I'm going to leave a gap in the center. We're going to go to the left side, I'm going to curve out and down towards the left heel, step over towards the right, curve out and down towards the right heel. Now let's round out the bottom of the feet. Starting from the heel, I'll curve down and up towards the toe on the left and right side. Now from the toe, we're going to curve the top of the foot. We're going to curve up, bend this down, aiming towards the heel. We're going to stop right about there. Now we're going to go back up to the hip and draw on the side of the leg. Starting from the left hip, curve out, down, and then pull that in on top of the foot. Let's add in the edge of the boot cup. Starting from the left side, we're going to curve down and then up, line this up on the right, and do the same thing. Now I'm just going to trace this out along the top, stepping up, let's add another curve just below it. So we'll step down, draw another curve. Let's add a trim on the outside of the leg. So out here, we draw two straight lines coming down. On the left side, we're going to angle down and out toward the left. On the inside, we're going to angle down and in towards the inside of the leg. Let's do the same thing on the right. Start with those two lines, angle down and out, and then on the left, angle down and then in. Now we're going to trace this out on the inside. Starting from the inside of the leg at the top, curve in, and angle down. And then on the outside, we're just going to draw a small sideways V. Let's move back up and draw on the arms. We're going to start halfway down the side of the body. So right here, we're going to curve out and down towards the wrist. Line this up on the right, and we'll do the same thing. Now back on the left side, let's start with the thumb. Draw a small half circle, curving in and then back out. At the end of the thumb, we're going to draw a bracket. Let's do the same thing on the right. Curving in and then out, and then we'll draw a bracket. Now we're going to add 3 fingers on either side. So on the left, we're going to start underneath the thumb, curve down, and then up around the bracket. We'll add 2 more fingers. Stepping down, curve down and up the second finger. Then on the side, we're going to curve out the 3rd finger, round up the arm, and then pull that up and in behind the head. Let's do the same thing on the right. Now we're going to add some detail along the arms. We're going to start at the top of this line. We're going to angle down and out toward the left and right. And then we'll go up with an angled line toward the side of the arm. Now from the inside, we just want to trace this out. Come down and then back up. Now let's move down towards the wrist and add in the cuff. Starting from the inside, we're going to curve up and then down. Do the same thing on the right, and we'll step up. We're just going to trace that along the top. From the outside of the arm, we're going to curve in and then down towards the inside of the arm. We'll line up on the right side and do the same thing. Now I just want to trace this out along the bottom. And then from this bottom point, I'm going to follow the same curve of the arm, going in behind that trim. Now let's go in and draw on those 4 retractable arms. We start at the top of the arm on the left, we curve out, and then up. Let's do the same thing on the right, curving out, and then up. And then from here, we're going to curve down, and then out towards the side. And then we'll curve down and in. Now we're going to thicken up these arms. Starting from the tip, we want to taper this so it gets thicker as you go out and then up. And we'll follow that same curve, going all the way up towards the top. And then again, we're going to curve down and then in behind the head. Let's do the same thing on the right. Let's move down and add a second set of arms. On the side, curve down and then out. Line this up on the right and do the same thing. Now from here we're going to curve down and then bend this out. And we'll curve down and then in. And then again, we're going to thicken this up. Starting from the tip, we'll taper this up and in. We'll follow this curve going all the way up to the top and then in behind the arm. And then finally, we'll just add a little bit of detail to these arms. We're going to connect the top and bottom with a curve, going in and then out. And then from the outside, we're going to curve in and then down. Let's move to the bottom. From here, we're going to curve in and down. And then from up here, we're going to curve up and then down. And then finally, we're just going to separate out the tip. About halfway along here, draw a curve. The same thing on the right, and then along the bottom. And finish off on the right. And there we have it. There's the Iron Spider from Spider-Man Far From Home. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Make sure you subscribe and send me your requests in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.